You probably think intelligence is a shield. Good grades, strong logic, lots of information. Surely, that means you can't be manipulated easily. But manipulation doesn't go after your IQ. It goes after your needs, your loneliness, your desire to feel special, your fear of being rejected or wrong. That's why doctors join cults. Lawyers stay in toxic relationships. Therapists miss red flags in their own homes. In this video, we'll break down why smart people still fall for manipulation and how to stay aware without becoming cold or paranoid. Being smart helps you solve problems on paper. But most manipulation doesn't start on paper. It starts when you're tired, lonely, in love, scared, or ashamed. Your brain switches from logical analysis to emotional survival. You might know every red flag in theory, but when it's your heart, your job, or your family on the line, you react like a human, not a textbook. Manipulators don't challenge your logic in a debate. They slip in through moments when your emotions are louder than your thoughts. Manipulators are like psychological hunters. They watch what you complain about, what you brag about, what lights you up, and what shuts you down. If you crave validation, they give you praise. If you fear abandonment, they give you attention, then threaten to leave. If you want to feel special, they say, "No one understands me like you." They don't need to be smarter than you. They just need to know which button to press and how often press it. One of the biggest risks for intelligent people is overconfidence. You think, "I would never fall for that." So you stop double-checking. You stop asking for outside opinions. You start believing that manipulation only works on naive or weak people. Meanwhile, your guard drops. You explain away your own red flags because you're sure you'd notice if it were really bad. Manipulators love people who think they're immune. Pride is a blindfold you willingly put on yourself. Big brains are excellent at building stories. When something feels off, your intuition whispers, "This doesn't make sense." But instead of listening, your mind starts explaining. They're just stressed. They had a rough childhood. Everyone has flaws. You create complex, intelligent reasons to stay in a simple, unhealthy situation. Your logical skills become a defense attorney, protecting the very person who's hurting you. Smart people don't miss red flags because they're dumb. They miss them because they can explain them away. Even intelligent people hate feeling like the outsider. If everyone in the group likes this leader, this partner, this opportunity, you feel pressure to see it the same way. You tell yourself, all these people can't be wrong, but they might be just as unsure as you are, each one looking at everyone else for reassurance. This is social proof. It doesn't disappear with higher IQ. The desire to belong is older and stronger than your degree. Titles, uniforms, and credentials can short-circuit your skepticism. Doctor, professor, coach, guru. We're trained from childhood to trust authority. So when a manipulator wraps themselves in status or expertise, we assume they know better, even when our stomach is twisting. Smart people often respect knowledge and achievement. Manipulators exploit that respect, using fancy words and impressive resumes to hide very simple abuse. Highly capable people rarely hear honest praise. So when admiration finally comes, it's powerful. You're the only one I can talk to. You're smarter than everyone else. I've never met someone like you. That kind of flattery hooks your ego. You don't want to lose the person who finally sees you. Manipulators use praise as a leash. First they raise you up, then they threaten to take that admiration away, unless you keep doing what they want. Smart people are comfortable with complexity. Manipulators use that against you. They bury you in long explanations, half-truths, data, screenshots, past stories. So the situation feels too tangled to sort out. You think it's complicated and give them the benefit of the doubt. Honest situations might be emotional, but they're usually simple. When every answer needs a 20-minute speech, you're not getting clarity. You're getting confused on purpose. Most smart people would walk away from obvious abuse on day one. So manipulators don't start there. They start small, a joke that stings, a tiny lie, a bit of pressure. You tolerate it. Next time, it's slightly worse, then worse again. By the time you realize how bad it is, you've already invested time, love, reputation, or money. Each step feels not that bad compared to now. So you stay. You weren't stupid. You were slowly adjusted. The more time and effort you've invested, the harder it is to admit you made a bad choice. You think, I can't walk away now. I've given them years. Or, I told everyone this was a great decision. Manipulators know this. They keep you in just long enough that leaving feels like losing everything. Intelligent people especially hate being wrong publicly. So instead of leaving, they double down and hope it improves. Smart or not, your brain runs on dopamine. When someone alternates kindness and coldness, approval and disapproval, attention and silence, your brain gets hooked on the pattern. You chase the next good moment, hoping it will erase the bad ones. This intermittent reinforcement is the same principle casinos and social media use. It doesn't matter how smart you are. If your nervous system is hooked, logic alone can't unplug you. Manipulation goes straight for your old injuries. If you grew up ignored, attention feels like oxygen. If you grew up walking on eggshells, you'll tolerate chaos because it feels familiar. Smart people often know their history in theory, but underestimate how strongly it still drives their choices. Manipulators don't need a diagnosis. They just need to sense where you're already hurting and promise to heal it while twisting the knife. Many intelligent people are also deeply empathetic. You understand why others act the way they do. You see their pain, their past, their fear. Manipulators flip this into a weapon. If you really understood me, you wouldn't be so hard on me. You don't want to be cruel, so you keep lowering your standards. But understanding someone's wounds doesn't mean you must accept their abuse. Compassion should have boundaries. Manipulation thrives in privacy. You're told, don't tell anyone about this. They won't understand us. Slowly, you stop talking to friends. Hide screenshots, excuse behavior. Without outside feedback, even the smartest brain loses its reference points. You start thinking, maybe this really is normal. Maybe I'm dramatic. When a situation can't survive sunlight, it's rarely healthy. Shame is one of the most powerful control tools. Once you realize you've been manipulated, you might think, I'm so stupid. How could I let this happen? That shame keeps you silent. You don't warn others. You don't ask for help. You stay trying to fix it in secret. Manipulators rely on that. They know you're more afraid of looking foolish than of being hurt again. But being tricked doesn't mean you're foolish. It means you're human. Smart people often study subjects. Manipulators study people. They read body language, tone changes, which words make you flinch, what makes your eyes light up. They don't need degrees. Their education is trial and error. On hundreds of conversations, you might have more knowledge, but they have more practice, pushing emotional buttons in real time. That's why pure intelligence isn't enough. You also need awareness, boundaries, and support. Falling for manipulation doesn't mean you're weak. It often means you're open, willing to trust, love, help, or believe in change. Those are good qualities. The goal isn't to become paranoid, always suspicious, always cold. The goal is to keep your heart soft, while keeping your eyes open, to say, I can care about you, but I will still watch your patterns, not just your words. Practical protection starts with simple habits. When something feels off, pause, don't rush. Share the situation with at least one honest friend. Don't ignore behavior because of titles, status, or story. Notice patterns, not apologies. Ask, if my friend told me this story, what advice would I give them? Intelligence becomes powerful when it works with your intuition and boundaries, not against them. Smart people fall for manipulation because manipulation is designed for humans, not stupid people. It targets emotions, needs, fears, and hopes. We all share. Instead of asking, how could I be so dumb? Ask, what did this situation teach me? About my needs, my blind spots, my boundaries? Awareness turns pain into data. Data turns into protection. If you want more breakdowns of dark psychology, manipulation, and narcissism, subscribe to Dark Mind Decoder and keep learning how to see the strings before they tighten.